So if you're like me, back in the past, you probably played with Matchbox cars, pushed them around and dreamed one day of being a racing driver. What the?
Well, you're going to need a lot of this so that you can get yourself one of these, lots of these, and I suppose lug it around in one of these things and afford a few of these guys.
So where is all this cash going to come from?
Well, maybe Dad can help you. Try a bit of this. A bank. Or you could take your body down to cash converters and see how that rolls out, I suppose.
You know, after 20 years of motor racing professionally in Australia, the most common question that I get asked about my career is, how did you find the sponsors? How the heck did you get the money to make that work for so long? Well, it's an interesting story. It's very, very different, I'm sure, to anything you might have heard before. What I said at the start of the video was how to make a career out of motor racing. I didn't say win. If you want to compete and live a dream, that's what I'm talking about. You know, all this kicked off many, many years ago. I was very, very lucky to be introduced to one of the lesser known German Grand Prix drivers, Helmut Weiser. Now, he was a great driver who never won a damn thing, and he told me that if you want to make a living out of motor racing, it's quite possible. You don't have to win everything. I mean, look at him. No one's ever heard of him, or his sister, Misty Weiser. But look, you know, I've made a living out of motor racing. I haven't had a real job for 23 years.
Okay, that's great, but how do I go from a real job to being a racing car driver?
You've got to be likeable.
Point one, be likeable. And the first thing you've got to understand is no one's going to part with money to give you to go car racing if you're a dick. You've got to be someone that these guys enjoy being with, that they want to spend time with, and they're really, really happy that you are mingling with their VIP customers, the people who pay their bills. So if you're a self-righteous, upstart, pain in the ass sort of a guy and wondering why you're not getting sponsorship, you really probably should be having a good think and a good look at yourself and be likeable. People buy from people they like and trust. It's as simple as that.
Yep, it's their plan, not yours.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me over the years how many people come to me and rabbit on about themselves, about how good they're going to be, what races they're going to win, and so on and so forth. No one really cares about that if they're going to sponsor you. Sure, it's good to be fast. No one wants to sponsor a loser. But then again, I never won anything. Yeah, no fastest laps, no pole positions other than in Formula V, and I never won a thing. Still there though. So what I mean by making it all about them is plan your program for them. Now, the only way you're going to do that is be able to get to know them, and that's research. You've got to know who they are, what their colours are, what their websites are like, bring some customers. It's a lot of work. But once you find out what turns them on, you're going to be able to program something tailor-made that pushes their button. Motor racing is about beating the other guy. And the trick to that is you got to do more than the other guy. You got to earn more, you got to engineer better, you got to drive faster, you got to be fitter. And when it comes to sponsorship, you've got to offer more than what they do. So in other words, don't just offer that you're going to wear the guy's cap and you're going to paint the car in his colours and you might put a sticker on the trailer. Think outside that square. Doesn't everyone want to drive a race car? We said that earlier. So why don't you put together some go-kart days where you teach them and race against their customers? Everyone has a great time. Factor that into your proposal. That's what I used to do. We did go-kart days endlessly. I'm probably a better go-kart driver than I am a bloody car driver. We had Sydney Harbour yacht cruises. We did shooting range stuff. We had golf days. I won a trophy there. I shouldn't have, but I teed off, hit the drinks cart on the fly, and then longest drive. There you go. That's probably another trophy. I only got about 5, and I think one of them was a golf thing.
Simply give your sponsor more. The more you give them, the more you're going to get back. Simple as that.
So point 3, I'm saying do more than your competitor when it comes to a sponsor. The example I would use, we were sponsored by Stag Chili, which for those who don't know, it's a minced meat-based 3-bean mix full of fire. They gave us tins and tins of the stuff. No money, just product. We were that broke, we put everything into the car, so I come up with the plan, well, we'll eat this stuff while we're away. And it was great. For breakfast, we'd have it on toast, and for lunch, we'd have it in a jaffle, and then for dinner, we'd make some spaghetti bolognese with it. And yeah, by the third day, I was going faster than I've ever gone before because I wanted to finish the race to get out of the car. And when I raced supercars, we had to have pit vehicles. Most people would hire them. We couldn't afford that at some rounds. So I'd send the guys around to the local dealership asking for a test drive of a ute, probably 15, 20 minutes before the session. They'd drive back to the track, fill it up with the gear, rip around into pit lane, run the session, rip the car back to the dealer, and then, you know, the next day when the next session was on, we go to another dealer. I mean, we did what we had to do. Now, I'm suggesting you do that. We didn't have any choice. But it just goes to show what I'm trying to get the point across is you've just got to do whatever it takes. And if you're prepared to do anything to get your ass in a race car and live that dream, you've got to open your mind. You've got to just come up with new stuff that no one's ever thought of before to keep the show on the road. Everyone's got to work. You can't get around it. But get a job in driver training, work in a car dealership, do something at night shift, whatever it takes that gives you the money so that you have ample time. Time is your friend. If you don't have time on your hands, you're not going to be able to ring the sponsors. And ringing sponsors is what the big part of this is. And that's what we're going to talk about right now.
If you're not talking to people, if you're not on the phone, you're not creating the opportunity for yourself.
Yeah, it's Aaron McGill. I've got a race car, and we can, sponsor, right, stick me in the toilet. Thanks. Okay, yep, no worries. Bye. You're going to need to contact people to get sponsors. You need to be on the phone a lot. There's no way around it. You need to perfect your technique of the spiel. Hi, it's me. This is what I do. Can I speak to the marketing? Whatever the spiel is, you got to work that out, and that's got to be yours. I had a ratio system where I knew that if I made 100 phone calls in a day, spoke to 100 people, I had a ratio of around 9 or 10 people would want to see something from me. And then out of that 9 or 10, I'd get one person that would agree to a meeting to discuss it further. I needed 5 of those to get to one person actually saying, yes, we'll sponsor you. The one thing you need more than anything else, when the chips are down and everything's not going your way, everyone's telling you to give up, and the one thing you've got to have is persistence. Spelt right.
You know, we had some great sponsors. Some stayed around for a long time, others didn't. Some moved on to greater things within the sport, but all of them helped us get on the track year in, year out. And you can look by the pictures, there's a lot of sponsors, a lot of work. We did so much off the track, grid girls, party nights, and we hang around with the sponsors. It was great.
So there you have it. There's a few tips on sponsorship, because without money, the whole thing's not going to get off the ground for you or for me. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. They all rabbit on about the pushing the buttons and the blah, blah, blah and all that other crap that goes on. So I won't bore you with it. Talk to you soon. Bye.